Hey there, I just wanted to take a moment real quick and check to see if you know if you are registered to vote. Now more than ever, it's so important for us to vote our conscious vote, what we want, and make sure that we're actually registered. So in the show notes below, I have a link to find out if you are registered. I have another link for expats just like me. If you are overseas, you need to register to vote as an overseas voter. So that link is also in there. Also, there's a couple other links, like you need to know who your elected officials are. We got that link as well. And lastly, we also put a link for Planned Parenthood. So if you need to get involved, as many of us do, and we just feel a little helpless right now, you can actually click on that link and it will show you how you can get involved locally. So these links are vital for us, vital for our future. Take a moment and click through. We need to be all in this together and definitely do our part, vote what we need to vote, and go for it. Go ahead and show your voice. This is an important time for us. It's a historical time for us. We have to register to vote. All right, welcome back to the show. So this particular podcast, I wanted to talk, or it's kind of that series where we've done like take me with you on your next social media meeting. This is the same thing. I want to be able to, instead of talking about these are the things that you need to know from a social media provider, this is that kind of the flip side of that. So if you were a social media creator, and you are a business owner, this episode is for you. And reason why it is for you is we're going to give a lot of clarity on the relationship between goals and what you can achieve in social media. There is a lot, I think in the beginning, and I think certainly still here now in New Zealand. New Zealand is respectfully 4 to 5 years behind the United States in terms of social media management. And a lot of it is because we don't know what we don't know. And that's fair enough. It's quite new, relatively new here. But there is a relationship or a conversation about, well, what is the ROI going to be once we start doing a social media campaign? What can you promise me? And this is a frank and clear conversation of what you can achieve with social media. Is it worth it? Short answer, yes. But be aware that it can take anywhere from 6 to 12 months to really succeed in social media. A huge part of that is consistency. Weekly consistency and continuity is the key to success. Also, I have to say, even with myself, we talk about visibility before. With my brand in particular, I need to step up my visibility so that I could get and grow a stronger audience and also get people to resonate with me. That is really important for me as we go into eventually launching our flagship product that we're going to do online all over again. So I haven't been online for a while. It's been important for me just to sort of work client side, but now I'm ready to go online. So how do I reach all of those potential people? So therein lies the whole online marketing segue, right? Like, how do we do this correctly? How do we grab all the people that we can in terms of engagement and reciprocity? Because eventually you do want to be able to get click-throughs to either buy your product or your service, you know what I mean? So we're going to be talking a little bit more about that today. So, in the age of social media brands, you can't hide anything from your customers. You have to be completely transparent. Audiences can learn everything about you and your business through social media. So this is something that's a really extra thing that we can do. Aside from word of mouth, if we keep on putting ourselves out there consistently, we can actually showcase what we do on a consistent, almost regular basis. Now, I'm not saying that you have to post every day. You can post about 4 times a week and still get that success. Organizations need to understand that it needs to be from a customer service perspective. So that front line, customer service, salespeople, people that are the first touch points of your service or product are likely to go ahead and help you develop your content pillars. Our future episodes are going to be all about social collab. So what is social collab? Social collab is a method that we use at our agency to help you boost your visibility all over social media. And it's not as hard as you think. If you are the ones that kind of like me that just don't know, what are we going to go ahead and write about? What can I post? Do I need to show another post of food, or do I need to dance on TikTok? Don't worry, we actually have everything that you need in the Social Collab program. So now, if you are interested in Social Collab, hop on our website at socialglobalgrind.com and we will email you once we have released our wait list and we're ready to take on new clients. That's socialglobalgrind.com, and I hope to see you there. They know what customers are asking for. They know what their main problem is. In fact, sometimes even seasonally, a group of customers may come in and they will actually understand what the seasonal problem is for that customer. So this is great to actually tap into your first online Salesforce customer service team to find out what those objectives are. What are the business objectives? How can we really put a relationship around some of the products and services that we have? So those goals that are linked to social media campaigns should really start with an intention. What do you want people to go away with? What kind of experiences that you want them to go away with? And that's really important. Also, brand advocacy is one of the other things that we have to talk about. So brand advocacy, or a brand advocate, helps highlight your brand. And a lot of those brand advocacy people are within your organization. If you're a solopreneur and you have a small team like myself, that means for me that I have to be my own brand advocate. What did we learn throughout the duration of even the year or during our career of how we can actually get from a client from start to finish? So it's really interesting to see how that works, because 92% of customers seek social recommendations. That is huge. 92% of customers seek social recommendation before buying. So depending on how your advocates are on social media, that could absolutely be a part of your marketing strategy altogether. So, who are those brand advocates? Who can also be that? It could be your customers, aside from your employees. You could also have business partners. So those are the people that you're looking for. So if you have anybody that wants to share a testimonial or a business partner that really will give them a better understanding of what you do, tap into those. Now, a lot of people don't tap into business partners, but if we had somebody managing our SEO for our website, they would fully understand and be aware of what we want to achieve, and they could speak to it. So have them speak to it. What can they offer in terms of that advocacy approach on social media? One of the other most important parts is content creation. This is really big. So this is where we get into the overwhelming space, right? So, oh gosh, we got to do all of this stuff. How do we do it? How do we create content? And how are we consistent? This is the one that gets everybody locked up. Now, if you're like me, I'm exactly like you. I was the same exact way. I got locked up in producing consistent social media. So what I did with my team just about a year ago is we talked about the content pillars and what we're going to talk about. And I was like, whoa, this is really intense. There's no way I'm going to be able to speak in this cycle. So what I've done is I actually started speaking about 3 bits and also plan out exactly what we're going to be talking about week per week. And I would do it in 4 weeks. And that was really easy. When you do it in 4 weeks and 4 topics, that's actually a month. So you know what I mean? So if you speak to that topic 4 times a week, there's your content. There's the start of your content. As you start to get succinct and you start to develop all of this, adding more content is quite easy, especially if you involve some of your teammates to also create content. You can create content by assigning somebody to write a blog for you, assigning somebody to speak about their client experiences. Doing it in different ways and involving your team is really the way to go. But I always say start with a baseline, write down, even if it's in a notebook. It doesn't have to be on Asana like I recommend. But by the way, if you're interested in doing Asana.com is a platform that you can use to help organize all of your digital creative parts. And I have this on my website. All you have to do is go to socialglobalgrind.com and you scroll down and there will be a system notification with I think it's a picture of a woman doing yoga on an iPad. Click on that and it'll take you to the masterclass on how to do this digitally. Otherwise, a notebook works just as well. So you would divide a page into 4 sections and you would label the topic on top, right? So if you're going to be talking about one of the weeks, let's say let's say we had a bakery, okay? And one is your famous black and white cookie that everybody loves, and that's one week. The second week is about cupcakes on the go. The third one is, bagel brunch. And the fourth one is, maybe a birthday cake week. So if you did that within each column, you can quickly, because your business, would be able to write 4 points on people, what they should know about your black and white cookie. And you would go ahead and you would quickly just write the subject down, just the title. And that's all you need to do for now. So when you're doing your content pillar or your pillars and / content creation, all I want you to do is start with the topic. So what is the 4 topics that week, right? Per category. That's all you have to do. So if you do something like that, that is the best way to do it. The next step is choosing a time to actually write about that topic. It doesn't have to be so long, but this is the clincher. This is the thing that everybody should know. Now, when you write content into a social media, especially on Instagram, that is called a caption. A caption, whatever it is that you write there, will likely index on Google. So what I want to tell you is that whatever you write in that caption, this is what you want to be known for. So keep that in mind, whether it is, search engine optimization keywords. What do? You're a bakery in Oakland? Great. Put that in there. Whatever it is that you want to be known for, that is something that is going to index likely on Google. I'm going to tell you a little story. One of my favorite creators on TikTok, her name is Hello Teffy, and she did this post about her when she's sick. She feels like she is E.T. face down in the river. So if you all remember the movie E.T., when he got sick, he was in the river and he was just really in an awful state. And what she did was talked about that. She wrote that in her caption on Instagram, right? And somebody had said, hey, Teffy, you are registering or you're on Google now as E.T. in the river. She's like, no, I'm not. And then so she Googled it and you could see her reaction and it's hilarious. And she's like, oh my God, I put that as a caption in my Instagram. And I just want to ask for privacy at this time. And I couldn't stop laughing. I thought that was hilarious. And it was also a great reminder for me when I'm going around and I'm talking to people or even speaking about social media this week. That's all I'm talking about. I'm talking about how Teffy accidentally Google indexed herself through Instagram captions, how she is very similar looking to E.T. E.T. in the riverbed when he's sick. And the funny thing is there's a side picture of her not looking very well. So it was hilarious. But it's a good reminder that we have to use the captions to our advantage, right? We have to make it work for us. So remember, when you're doing captions, when you're writing those little bits, make sure that you are putting yourself out there and you are wanting to be known what you do. Why do you do what you do? What are you? So important. And where can they find you? So that is something that in succession, if you're consistent, this is something that will help you index on Google. So keep that in mind. Please remember this story. I think I'm going to have to put a link of that video in the description because it's hilarious. It's a good reminder to always be on point. Go back to the basics. Don't make it difficult, and really stop and think about what your message is. Okay, listen, before I forget, I wanted to let you know about this session thing I've been doing lately, and it's been really, really cool for a lot of small businesses, entrepreneurs, even medium-sized businesses. And what it is I'm doing free discovery calls to just check the temperature. Let's see how you're doing with social media. Have you started a campaign? Are you sporadic? Any questions that you have about social media, I would love to help answer them. Now, all you need to do is go into the detail area below the description and check out the Calendly link I put in for you. All you need to do is go ahead and click that, book some time for us, and we can continue this conversation. All right, so let's talk about the benefits of content curation, right? So we know the captions are king, right? We just got to make sure, or queen, definitely queen. And when it comes to making sure that we get out there what we want to be known for, so we make sure that we write a caption that makes sense, that covers that, what we want to be known for, where are we located, how can you get in touch with us? All those bits and pieces need to be in the caption, in the body of the content. Also, just know that if you are doing social media, don't worry about the ROI. It's efficient and it's cost effective, especially when it comes to brand building. This is something that is a slow burn. I often get that conversation about ROI, and we'll talk about it in a minute. Let me just finish the benefits and content curation, and we'll do the whole ROI conversation afterwards. So curating consistently actually lowers the cost of overall advertisement. So keep that in mind. Thought leadership potential, you can actually showcase that your product knowledge, your brand or service, your product is above the rest, and this is why. And showing how you can do that will help increase your own credibility, and also build yourself as an industry leader if you do that on LinkedIn. One of my favorites, retailer that is showcasing her leadership is Rebecca Minkoff on LinkedIn. She's a New York fashion designer, but she's also taking the time to doing newsletters and really showcasing what her brand is doing. It is amazing to look at. And the title is very in your face. So I would check out Rebecca Minkoff and look to see if you can sign on for her newsletter, because I want you to be able to see, engage, that it's just not one face that you should be putting out there. Like you should always be on Instagram. There is so many different ones. I am absolutely loving LinkedIn as much as I do TikTok. They are the places that are really going to get you there sooner than later. The other benefit of content curation is maintaining conversations with your audience. This is so important. Always being there to content share, make it easy to get engaged with clients and customers. If people are liking or talking about it, reach out to them and give them a direct message. This is worth it. We want to be able to have so many brand evangelists out there that love what you do. One of the ways to do it is to actually do that quick minute touch point. It's so important. This is how you would unlock networking opportunities. Sharing other people's content also, if you love it, this is a great way to do it. I tend to do that on Instagram stories and also on LinkedIn. It's really been valuable, especially if you're trying to build a relationship. Let's see. And then also show your audience how you are from your perspective. So a lot more videos. Do you see how I stuttered in the beginning? Because I'm talking about visibility again, which if you've heard before, it's a little bit of my struggle. I need to get more in front of the camera, and this one kills me. I know that I'll get better engagement if I do that, and I'm encouraging you to do that as well. Now, going back to the ROI discussion. So return on investment is often asked in these type of meetings, like, oh, what can you promise me in terms of return on investment? So oddly enough, this happened with social media. It never fully happened or has been as, oh gosh, what am I say? Much of a magnifying glass, or it's a hard ask, more so than it would have been for like billboards or magazine ads. That conversation never really happened as hard as it does with social media. What can you promise me? What kind of return on investment can you give? Like in terms of dollars, what is it? What can we expect? And you can expect more from a billboard. You can expect more from a magazine. The thing is that those two types of advertisements are not in the peripheral. You'll never see them again, while your post on social media is there. You can always reference it back. If you're on Instagram, it could be a lookbook of your company and your services of what you do, and it's forever there. I mean, as far as we know, right? There's glitches in all social media, but one of the ways that you can actually help with that is you can also post a blog that speaks to your week topic. That is the other thing. But when you consistently do this, it will actually show up a bit more. I always say in terms of like, what can you compare it to? Okay, I'm going to compare it this way. So your website is the house, right? Social media is the car, the vehicle to get you to your website. And along the way, you're going to find out a lot of stories before you get to the house. That is why social media is so important. You can't get that from a billboard. A billboard will not constantly be in your focus. Even Times Square's billboards have a life expectancy, right? And then on to the next. Same thing with the magazine. That's if you keep the magazine, or unless you're always seeing the same magazine in your doctor's office, how often you're going there regularly, how often are you seeing that advertisement? So social media is a place where it's almost stationary. If you put on consistent topics and consistent stuff there, you can actually see that a little bit more regularly, and more consistently. So that's something also that you gotta look at. Now, this is the other thing, conversion tracking. So how do we, speaking about ROI, how do we look at those conversions? How do we track them? This is a little difficult to do. You have a business goal and an intention, right? When you're doing your social media, and you want actions to follow, like, are they signing up for a newsletter? Are they downloading anything that you're putting out there? Maybe you're an app company and you want to see how many downloads. I used to do that as well. So, what does the content offer? How many items per cart after this? You can track things like that, like that actually originate from your social media, and then you can see what tracks back on your website. Conversion tracking tools like Google Analytics require account managers to define all of those measurable goals and that conversion. So it might be somebody in your team or yourself that actually can set up the Google Analytics part, and then you can start to track it. So examples of those goals would be, how many people actually physically came into the store location. If you were at a store, how many site visitors from your website, how many people came in from social media, all of these different things. How many ad items to a cart. So you could start gauging exactly how well your social media is. One things that we use in our company is, how many signs did we get for a newsletter? How many downloads did we get for a content offer, or even playing a video? These are things that we use to help measure. If we have some, and we're never really set on a goal, but we want to see how we do per month. We want to also gauge what worked, what didn't work, and then we just kind of go from there. So KPIs in particular, this is where I say tread softly in the beginning, go harder as the campaign keeps going. So for the first 6 months, lightly look at number of conversions, the conversion rate, cost per conversion if you're doing a Facebook ad acquisition or Google ad acquisition. What is your bounce rate? This is so important. So if you look to see what your bounce rate is off of your website, now we as social media providers, we can actually help get the vehicle, get people to click to your website, and then that is all that we're responsible for. Unfortunately, what's responsible for the bounce rate is the content that's on the website. And a lot of social media managers or creators are not responsible for that because we didn't create the website page. We didn't do any strategy alongside or in conjunction with social media. That's why it's really important to have somebody that understands what bounce rates are as a social media company. So we know that if we do have a bounce rate, we can also assist and help provide solutions to help lower that bounce rate. We want to see how many page per visits when somebody comes in from social media. And then also hits on the destination page, like how many people actually went on it. And then also to any events, like did they play videos, did they download content, did they sign up for newsletters? And then of course, the session duration, how long did they stay on it? That is something that we want to also look into. So, when you're talking about ROI and finding it through social media, there are ways that you can do it and, assigning KPIs and doing that. But really, another way to do it, if you're doing e-commerce work, Instagram shopping, Pinterest shopping pins, marketing those products, that is an easier way to get an ROI in terms of time and ad spend and all of that. So there is a bigger discussion to be had, obviously, and I want to be able to give you the hit points here more than just doing all of the nerdy behind the scenes stuff. So I'm just going to keep it really surface. So what we've learned in this episode is that we want to make sure that we provide content each month by filling out 4 main topics per week, and then going into each week and quickly writing 4 topic details on the top. What do we want to talk about? Also, making sure that your caption, the content that you write, talks about where they can find you, why do you do what you do. It doesn't have to be all of them at the same time, but it wouldn't hurt. Why you do what you do, and how accessible they can, what is the next step to get to you? How accessible are you? Do they need to contact you? What do they need to do? What's that actionable step that you desire your audience members to take? That is the biggest takeaway. If you take away anything, that is the biggest thing that we need to look at, is the actual creation part of the content. How do we get people to actually look at us? The other big thing is, and we all know, it's that visibility piece. It is about talking about the product and service from your brand perspective. If you're an owner of a company, you need to be up there and talking about why you do what you do. What is the product and service that you really want to showcase, and why did you come up with it? And how does it help people? And why did you come up with this system? I want to know why exactly you've done it. So for us, at Social Global Grind, we started as an educational platform. We helped teach people through coaching, because it started off as a coaching program, how you can use social media and what are the fundamental mechanics and how do you use it. Like back in the day, how to use Twitter, how many times you post, and how do you actually start to index on Google. One of the things that we found out using or being a very early adapter to Twitter is that we quickly found out it actually registered us quite quickly in terms of like our SEO for our website. So we shared that information with the people that we were coaching. That was amazing. And it really was, I was getting my actual first business was or the first part of the business, because I kept on going through different iterations. The first iteration, we were findable. We were actually getting a lot of clients, and it was amazing. So think of that. Think about why you do what you do. What can you change for your client? How do you help people? What are your success stories? All of that. And do it in front of the camera. I'm committed. Do it with me. Tell me what you're thinking when you're doing it. And it could be actually the first couple of times, it could be really quite difficult, but you will get there, and I'm with you all the way. So thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate you. Listen, my contact details are also down below in the description, along with my social media. Please follow me. I would love to chat with you and talk to you. There's also a link to do that on the bottom as well. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope to hear you soon and see you on the next podcast.